Before anything else, leave that like because it helps the content reach more supporters. Subscribe now so you don't miss any important updates, and turn on notifications to get everything firsthand, because the next information you're about to hear directly affects Manchester City's present and future. And if you truly live this club, this video is for you. The mood behind the scenes at Manchester City is far from calm. Even with the team showing strength on the pitch, winning convincingly and maintaining the level we've become used to over the past few years, off the field the conversations are intense, strategic, and full of delicate decisions that can impact far more than just the next match. January is approaching, the calendar is tightening, and the club is starting to line up moves that blend immediate needs with long-term planning, something that has always been a hallmark of this leadership. In recent days, one specific name has started to circulate more strongly in English football corridors, especially around a possible move involving Manchester City and Crystal Palace. The focus is on a young winger who, despite being highly valued internally, is living through a period of uncertainty in his career. Not because of a lack of talent, far from it, but because of a sequence of factors that stalled his progress exactly when he seemed ready to take a bigger step. At 22, this player is seen by many inside the club as someone with above-average technical potential, sharp close control, intelligent reading of the game, the ability to operate in more than one attacking role, and a creativity that fits perfectly with the City idea of dominant football. The problem has never been quality. The problem has always been continuity. Over the last 18 months, almost everything has conspired against a consistent run. When a real opportunity to get minutes appeared, another injury followed. When rhythm started to return, the body demanded its price again. That affects confidence, affects timing, and above all, affects space. Inside a squad where competition is brutal and nobody waits. At the start of the current season, things got even tougher. A serious fracture in the very first week practically wiped out any chance of a steady campaign. Months of recovery, intense physical work, an attempt to get back to competitive level, and when it finally seemed the worst was behind him, another muscular issue stopped everything again. This time, right when he was beginning to feel genuinely useful on the pitch. That stop-start cycle is cruel for any young athlete, but it becomes even heavier when you're at a club that fights for every possible trophy and where every match is treated like a final. There's no room for long tests, no endless patience. If you're not ready now, someone else is. That's exactly where Crystal Palace's interest comes in. The London clubs see in this player a rare market opportunity, someone with elite development, proven quality in training and at a high level, but who needs consistent minutes to finally unlock his game. Palace see an immediate fit, an athlete who could take on a leading role, something that would be difficult to achieve at City right now. From Manchester City's side, the stance is clear and clinical, as it almost always is. There's no desperation to sell, no rush to get rid of an asset that can still deliver sporting and financial value. But there are no fully closed doors either. If a proposal considered fair arrives, whether a permanent deal or a well-structured loan, the club is willing to sit down and talk. When City open that kind of dialogue, they rarely lose control of the situation. Buyback clauses, sell-on percentages, and specific conditions are part of any negotiation. The thinking is simple. If the player explodes in another environment, the club still wants decision-making power over his future. January, however, adds an extra layer of complexity. It's a short, pressured window where decisions have to be made quickly. The player's physical condition matters a lot, as does the number of interested clubs. The more competition, the higher the perceived value. The more medical doubts, the more cautious the negotiation becomes. Within that context, City's directors have to balance three things at once: the player's development, the squad's immediate needs, and the long-term strategy. Letting him go now could accelerate his career, but it could also mean losing a piece who, healthy, might have a real impact in the future. Meanwhile, the supporters watch and split. Some argue for total patience, believing the talent deserves more time. Others see a temporary exit as the best route for everyone. The decision isn't simple. and that's exactly why it's being handled with such care behind the scenes. And as if that weren't enough, the atmosphere at Manchester City is also marked by extremely high internal standards, something that has been even more obvious in recent days, and which helps explain why every detail, including physical condition, is treated so seriously at the club. This constant demand for maximum level helps explain another point that has gained momentum in recent days and reveals a lot about the club's mentality. Even amid victories, a strong collective moment, and a sense of control on the pitch, the coaching staff made it clear there is no space to switch off, not even during periods traditionally linked to rest and celebration. After a secure, mature home win, the kind where the team controls the tempo from start to finish, attention quickly shifted to what happens off the grass. The calendar doesn't forgive, the run of matches is heavy, and any slip can cost vital points in a season where every detail matters in the title race. So even with a short festive break, the message to the squad was direct and left no room for interpretation. Spending time with family is allowed, stepping away from the competitive environment is healthy, but that doesn't mean losing physical or mental sharpness. Professionalism doesn't go on holiday. The demand was straightforward. Every player was assessed before the break, and everyone knows they'll go through the same check as soon as they return. It's not just about numbers on a scale, but about commitment to the level the club requires every day. Coming back overweight, even slightly, is a sign of losing focus, and in this squad, that has immediate consequences. The message may have been delivered with a light tone, but the seriousness behind it is undeniable. Nobody has a guaranteed spot. If someone relaxes, someone else takes the place. As simple as that. This internal culture is one of the main reasons Manchester City stay competitive season after season, even while dealing with injuries, physical wear, and constant pressure. It also connects directly to the situation of that young winger. In an environment this demanding, any delay in development carries more weight. Talent isn't enough. You have to be available, prepared, and ready to respond when the opportunity appears. When that doesn't happen consistently, decisions become inevitable. The next away challenge, against an opponent known for making matches difficult in their own stadium, demands intensity from the first minute. There's no time to ease back in. Either you're ready or you don't play. That mentality shapes choices, lineups, and even market moves. But if the present already demands maximum attention, the future is also being shaped with great care. Away from the spotlight, the club has been moving quietly to ensure the next phase of its story is built with the same stability and identity that have defined recent years. Behind the scenes, information has emerged about discreet contacts involving key figures in City's sporting planning, and people directly connected to a name that sparks respect, recognition, and curiosity among supporters. Someone who knows the club deeply, lived its internal standards, and understands better than most what it means to wear this shirt. The possibility of a former leader of the squad, now established as a head coach at one of Europe's biggest clubs, returning to Manchester in an even bigger role isn't seen as immediate, nor as a decision already taken. But it isn't treated as fantasy either. It's planning. It's anticipation. With changes happening in the club's executive structure, the idea of thinking beyond the now has been reinforced even more. The work isn't limited to watching players in the market. It involves understanding coaching profiles, compatible philosophies, and people capable of sustaining a winning culture when it's time to turn the page. A private conversation, away from cameras and public statements, happened precisely in that context. It wasn't a negotiation, it wasn't an offer, but a classic move from those who want information, want to read the landscape, and want to keep doors open. On the other side, the reaction was calm, without alarm, like someone who understands clubs at this level are always a step ahead. There's also an emotional factor. The bond with the city, with the club, and with the supporters was never broken. There is mutual respect, admiration, and the sense that, at some point, the paths could cross again. Not now, not tomorrow, but when it makes sense for everyone. For now, nothing changes in the technical leadership. The focus remains fully on the present, matches, trophies, and performance. But what becomes clear is that Manchester City doesn't wait to be surprised. It prepares. It watches, it plans, it builds scenarios so it isn't held hostage by chance. All of this connects. The possible exit of a young talent, the extreme physical demands, the attentive eye on the future of the head coach position. They are pieces of the same puzzle. A club that thinks big, acts with cold clarity, and understands sustained success doesn't happen by improvisation. And now I want to hear from you. As a supporter, would you give this young winger more time to prove himself at City? Or do you believe a January move would be the best path? Do you like this level of discipline imposed on the squad? Or do you think it goes too far? And when you think about the future, can you imagine anyone who represents continuity better than someone who knows the club from the inside? If you enjoyed this content, leave a like now because it strengthens the channel massively. Subscribe so you don't miss any important Manchester City updates, and turn on notifications to get everything firsthand, because here we follow every move that can change the course of the season.